Government shouldn't be wasting their time trying to monkey around with monetary policy. It's a complete waste of government's time. Just outsource your monetary policy to Bitcoin and work on something else. Build roads, take out trash, do something that governments are good at. So if you have a country and your GDP is suffering and your fiat money is deteriorating, you're going to be tempted into the Bitcoin standard to take advantage of that. The fundamentals that apply to Bitcoin are only getting stronger, and people are, I think, not pricing in this news about sovereign states making Bitcoin legal tender. I mean, this is the first, Bitcoin separates state from money. In the case of El Salvador, it'll be running parallel with the dollar, but the individuals have the right to take control of their own private keys. It's outside of the state's control. Same thing everywhere. And the government makes a good point. They're saying, why should we be in the business of the central bank business? We can outsource that to Bitcoin, and we can use geothermal, which is free and ecologically sound, and we can do other stuff with our time as the government. I think you're the one who pointed out that as the Bitcoin price goes higher, we attract a higher class of Bitcoin deranged people. So clearly Nassim is a higher class than Peter Schiff. He's got more books out there. He's considered to be more of a serious person. But now he's gone crazy. He's fallen into the trap. What is it about some people that not only do they fear the pullback, but they actually go insane, like Nassim Taleb? Government shouldn't be wasting their time trying to monkey around with monetary policy. It's a complete waste of government's time. Just outsource your monetary policy to Bitcoin and work on something else. Build roads, take out trash, do something that governments are good at. Don't focus on monetary policy. Governments are horrible at monetary policy. At this point, there's no difference between the United States and the Soviet Union in terms of monetary policy right now. The corrections in Bitcoin have been successfully getting less and less and less. I mean, I've went through 3 80 to 90% corrections, in Bitcoin since 2011. So, but since then we've had less and less and less. So we just experienced a 20% correction. And so now that correction's over, and now we start going higher. And so it'll start to behave more like an asset class where you might see 10 to 20% corrections. The 30, 40, 50% corrections, I think we're past that because the size of the market's gotten to be a lot bigger, and the amount of money on the sidelines waiting to get in is enormous. The biggest money funds in the world, BlackRock, Stan Druckenmiller, Paul Tudor Jones, MassMutual Insurance Company, they're all sitting on the bid, hoping to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. And that's only going to get bigger and bigger. Sovereign wealth funds are going to get into this, etc. So the corrections will be less and less and less. You have a Politburo of decision makers making horrible decisions based on price signals that are concocted out of horrible feedback, out of horrible price signals, and they're both going to go the exact same way, into the trash bin of history, because they have no monetary policy, because they're run by kleptocrats and geriatric senile old idiots, and they're just going to die on the vine. And these countries run by young, enterprising entrepreneurs like El Salvador and others are going to be like, we'll take it. We'll run the world. Thank you very much. And Bitcoin is our standard. Now these countries are saying, hey, you know what? I think we'll opt out. Thank you very much, but we don't need you, because now we have Bitcoin, as I predicted and a few others predicted. The whole question was never, when will governments ban Bitcoin? The whole question is, which governments will start to adopt Bitcoin, and you get into this hash war. You get into competitive government acquisition mode. Like, we need as much Bitcoin as possible. You see the New York, they're having a mayoral race right now. The guy who's leading the race said, oh, to heck with Miami, because Miami has declared itself the Bitcoin capital of America under its mayor, is saying, we're going to be the Bitcoin capital of America. New York City is going to be the Bitcoin capital of America, according to the mayoral candidate. He just came out with that this week, right? So that's what I've been saying is going to happen. There's going to be competition to get the most Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, and get the most businesses, Bitcoin businesses. That's what we're going to see happening. It's called game theory. It's baked into the protocol since day one, and now it's playing out on the sovereign level as we predicted for many years. So there's not going to be any banning of Bitcoin. So if you have a country and your GDP is suffering and your fiat money is deteriorating, you're going to be tempted into the Bitcoin standard to take advantage of that. Which country in Europe? I thought that Iran would be a candidate to go Bitcoin. They already have like 4.5% of the hash rate right now, from what I understand. Obviously, Russia, they totally got out of dollars. They dumped their last dollars out of their reserves. They have no more dollars. So they are free to do something smart, like do what Paraguay, what El Salvador just did, go to a Bitcoin standard. And one of them is going to collapse in 2021, and that will start an avalanche out of fiat money and paper money, and the top beneficiary of that will be Bitcoin. That's one of the catalysts for a price appreciation in 2021. But my point is this, Daniela, Bitcoin is a protest against fiat money, central banks, authoritarianism. And the way the protest works is the cypherpunks and everyone involved in Bitcoin, essentially, we made our own money. It's perfect money. It has nothing to do with the state. You've separated for the first time in history state from money. It's never been done before, ever. And now it has been finished. It has been completed. It has been figured out, and it's been launched, and it's out there for 10, 11 years, and it's working. And the nation state, as we know it, is going to dissolve. Central banks are going to dissolve, and fiat money is going to go the way of all fiat money has gone over 300 years. Not a single fiat money, paper money scheme has lasted over the past 300 years. They've all gone to zero or lost 99% of their purchase power. So it should be no shock to anyone that the US dollar is going to go to zero. The British pound looks particularly horrible. That's definitely going to go to zero. All the fiat money is going to go to zero. And of course, the chief beneficiary of that would be Bitcoin. And these are the catalysts. These are the catalysts to see this price projection, and why, when we get into the numbers, you'll understand more why I have the number that I have. I'm going with $220,000 per Bitcoin as a 2021 target. And that would bring us up to over $4 trillion market valuation, which I think is a good 2021 objective. We were going to catch up to gold. That would bring us up to not quite half gold's valuation, but getting close to gold. This news about sovereign states making Bitcoin legal tender. The corrections in Bitcoin have been successfully getting less and less and less. There's going to be competition to get the most Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, and get the most businesses, Bitcoin businesses. You're going to be tempted into the Bitcoin standard to take advantage of that. Bitcoin is a protest against fiat money, central banks, authoritarianism.